Football 101 with Coach Bret Bielema. Brought to you by Carl, the official health provider of Fighting Illini Athletics.
Welcome back to Football 101. Martin O'Donnell joined as always by Coach Bret Bielema. And Coach, coming off of the bye week, what were some of your priorities for the bye?
You know, first, within our roster, it was kind of nice to have some developmental time. So guys that, not only just the guys that aren't playing, the freshmen that haven't played, or maybe a first, second, third year player that hadn't seen the field, but, guys that are kind of backups and reserves who haven't been able to play maybe an extended amount of time on Saturday. Maybe they're getting 10 reps of special teams and 5 reps from the line of scrimmage to get them out there. And what was really fun is the true developmental guys. So the guys that haven't played yet, at the end of some of those practices, we'd have true Devo periods where it's Devo offense versus Devo defense, developmental offense versus developmental defense, where they're running Illinois' offense and really Illinois' defense. They're not a scout team anymore. They're not a look team. And they got to compete. And it was probably one of the most spirited times of the whole week is to see those guys play against one another.
So would they, scrimmage in those periods, tackle? I mean, is it kind of full go?
We didn't go actually live tackle, okay. But we definitely went full pad thud, which turned into tackling in certain capacity. I think just because we are thin at some positions, in particular offensive line and defensive line, we were paper thin just to get through a practice. We've had a couple offensive linemen that have had to play defensive line just because we needed bigger bodies and we didn't have the pure numbers there. And then the other thing that happened during the bye week is recruiting, right? So bye weeks are so totally different than they are during a season. So first off, by NCAA rules, I could only work 3 days last week. We could only work 3 days with our players. So that was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday ended up being a weight room day, but we could only have them in by NCAA rules X number of days. So that did allow us to get out myself 2 days on the front end and 3 days on the back end of recruiting, which is going to be a huge lifeline for us in the future.
Well, and the rest of the staff, I assume they also went and covered a bunch of territory as well.
Yeah, we actually, because Monday was actually Columbus Day, there were a lot of schools that weren't in session. It's kind of interesting to see the wide range of schedules. Certain states honor Columbus Day, others don't, so you really didn't want to send a coach into an area where the school wasn't even going, or they might have practice. So really limited on Sunday and Monday with me and just a couple coaches. But then starting Wednesday, right after practice, a lot of my coaches left by noon on Wednesday, either saw some practices on Wednesday and were out all day Thursday, Friday, or in the case of many of my coaches, they maybe traveled a significant distance on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and then we're out in the schools Thursday, Friday, and then there was 1, 2, 3, 4 of us out on Saturday at recruiting as well.
Busy.
Busy.
That's good. That's good. Well, looking back at the season through 7 games, I think this is something maybe Illinois fans take a little bit for granted, but a guy like Blake Hayes, 2 years ago, Big Ten Punter of the Year, but, to have a guy that's as consistent as he is in that position, the ability to flip field position, what does that mean to have a guy like that on your side?
Martin, I think you realize this too. You've been around him. His maturity is incredible, right? Like, he's a really good player, a really good punter, but he's a great holder for James McCourt. He's a great resource for him. Those two together have been through a lot. And they really have a great understanding on game day of what each other can do, kind of their own little check and balance. Because I think as a kicker or a punter, they always tend to think they can do more than they probably should, and that's the way you want it. And I think they provide a little bit of a check and balance for each other. But I would tell you this, Blake Hayes, in addition to the talent that he has as a punter, the talent he has as a holder, but he's a left-footed punter. And in the NFL, there are certain teams and franchises that put a unbelievable amount of premium on that because the ball just comes off your foot. It's a little bit difficult, more difficult to prepare for. So I think that added value on top of all of his skill set takes him to probably a possibility of being a draftable punter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he's been so much fun to watch here. And, one other question that I had for you was, 7 games in, like I mentioned earlier, what have you learned about the 2021 Fighting Illini? What do you hope to see here in the final 5 games?
I go back to Tuesday. I knew they'd come out, they practiced well, but last Wednesday we had a full padded, pretty extensive, long physical practice. And going into it, I had a thought that our guys would show up and compete pretty well. I mean, they're a 2-5 team that everybody's, taking shots at, or everybody's not obviously going to be very complimentary, but these guys show up to work every day. They have a tremendous amount of pride. I think even this week going into the preparation to play Penn State, a very difficult team on the road, they showed up to practice well last night. On Sunday night, we had a pretty significant, good practice under the lights, good high energy. They'd been out of it basically since Thursday when we left the field, Friday, Saturday. So to get a good little lather going on Sunday night, we were out there about an hour it just again shows me the character that they have and hopefully the passion they have to move forward.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thank you for your time, and thank you for watching Football 101.
Football 101 with Coach Bret Bielema. Brought to you by Carl, the official health provider of Fighting Illini Athletics.